Hey friends, welcome to my channel if you're new here. We're going to do some readings to research what Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state, does for you. Besides be the foundation for your actual true twin flame development in which you're going to build your union, your relationship, your mission business, and everything that is connected to it, your family, your money, life, everything that you want there on a true and tested basis. That's what I pass on. So, but within that given, some topics, and I wanted to start with one to research what that will transform for you in Harmonious Twin Flame Union. And the topic itself sounds kind of sad, but I mean, there we go. That's reality, social reality in the world has a lot of very sad topics, and this is really one of them. And even though I'm even thinking if YouTube will not like this certain word, I'm just going to say it. So the topic that we're going to research is how Harmonious Twin Flame Union heals rape culture. At least when I grew up, and also therefore the society in and around me and the social atmosphere, etc., was really rape culture. As a woman, it was really normal to not be allowed to have boundaries, and you were really like educated not to have them. And that is like physical boundaries, intimate boundaries, sexual boundaries. And they could just be crossed anytime by grown-ups and therefore also by men. And, that was just something that got into me, was internalized, like, oh, that's apparently how the social world works of grown-ups. That's how the world works. And yeah, so that opens you up for being gone over your boundaries as a grown up as a default, especially by men. Because part of the rape culture, how I grew up, was also that men were treated favorably. They were allowed to, I don't know, be free, walk around, do their own thing, while women needed to be restricted, staying at home and doing what the parents said. And that was also for sexual behavior. Men were allowed to experiment with it, but females were not. They were supposed to be repressed by the men about it. And this is all really what happened to me as a child. And again, that is only intensely normal that you internalize that and then live in the results of this psychological setup in society as a grown-up. And then you can start to realize that something is deeply wrong here, which happened for me. And for me, it has already been completed, this healing, because I am in Harmonious Twin Flame Union and initiated as a teacher of it. And I have around 7 years of experience in trying to make this teachership work, and with a lot of adventures to be able to do that. And one of the things that happened in that time was that I also saw that, trauma can be completely healed by that, because I was deeply traumatized by all these deeply ingrained beliefs and experiences. Now, I believe in my case, it was actually like some sort of an overdone situation. It was really like, well, it was very like secretive, like we're very normal here and we're so positive, but it was like secretively was all of this what I just explained. And it was of course very sick, but that was like, relatively speaking, sicker than maybe some other parts of the society and bigger social circles that I grew up with. But I think that just made things clear to me, that it is, relatively speaking, everywhere like that. Very interesting observations, because you get a deep insight into how these things work, and you can see it in all kinds of layers and places, and etc., etc. So, if the gender norms would be turned around, then that is just as much rape culture, because, believe it or not, this whole setup, how I grew up, was actually implemented the most, and the most extreme, and really completely only by them, by the mother of that family. So, I mean, she was the one, that uh, sexually stalked, and went over boundaries with the men, and then they would do the same to the other female participants, etc. So it's really not against any gender. I take a little bit of my history to just sort of make this broad sketch of what I'm talking about. So, and although I already just in very short just admitted that for me it has already been completely resolved, and also that I actually feel that that was solely through the spiritual changes and healings that come through coming into Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state. Still, I just actually would like to get a oracle card reading on the base of this to see what this means, and if it's in general true, and what's happening here. Is that like a general human condition, or like a Western society present day condition? And how does going to the Twin Flame Harmonious Union consciousness state contribute to, and in fact resolve it? And what kind of society are we looking forward to when more and more people go there? Because although it is still very small, what we're seeing with Harmonious Twin Flame Union, it's a growing thing nevertheless. So I did prepare a whole bunch of selection of my oracle cards, and I will ask Divine Mother to see through me what we're doing, and help me through this reading. So I saw that I was watching this deck. So I don't know, let's start there. So this is the Angel Oracle. No, the Angel Answers, of course. So maybe we get a little bit of a grasp on what I've just been saying as an introduction, how correct that is, or what brought us that, I don't know, not sure. So let's give it one more shuffle. Well, this is a very clear one that was sticking out. It's up to you. Okay. So you can change this. You can change these kinds of ingrained societal, social structures that actually, like rape the concept of love, and of relationships, and of marriage, and of romance, and of dating, and of all the happy things that could be between two lovers. It's up to you to choose to change that. It's up to you, just like it's up to you to choose your true twin flame. I mean, it's up to you if you really go for it, not only having this, something passed by and it touched me deeply, but really choosing to, it's up to you to choose to say, yes, I am going to fully choose this, and no matter what it takes or costs, or how long it takes, or whatever, I'm going to pursue this. Even if it's an inner journey, I will do it. And therefore choose, to go for the true twin flame as the one and only life partner. And that is really up to you. Yeah, that's true. So that's, I think, a powerful thing about the whole twin flame journey, and and the healing of rape culture, that you can choose it. It's up to you. That is the empowerment of it. You can choose to stop it. You can choose to go for it fully and completely, the twin flame journey, right? With the right kind of helping elements and teacher and whatnot. You can choose for it. So that's your empowerment. It's like good news because it depends on you. You can say yes or research what this unconscious no is that you might be saying without fully realizing it, which then transforms it into a yes. And it's really, really, really up to you. It's really good news. So you can do something about it, about the twin flame and about rape culture. You can choose it. It's not up to your twin flame. It's not up to someone else. It's not up to your parents. It's not up to your therapist. It's not up to your friend circle. It's only up to you to say, I'm going to go to the healthy, the one and only solution to a healthy love relationship that there exists in the entire universe that will heal rape culture on the way there. And I can and I will choose that. She's really pointing, like this angel is like pointing at us. So I'm like, maybe another card wants to come out. Is that true, Divine Mother? That is helping me with my readings. Well, I don't know. I think not then. I mean, this was a pretty big sign, right? This is the big thing. It is up to you. And we don't realize that. And we just continue complaining about the twin flame and how much they are not coming home and whatnot, and not realizing that is really up to us. It's really up to us. We can choose. And we choose until the depth of our heart, where we are one with our true twin flame. And that's how you can influence the choice of your entire union, because you choose it to the degree of where your union is anchored inside of you. So you choose for your union, and your choice is the most healthy and the most divine one when you want to come in harmonious union. So that must then prevail, because we live in divine order, if you like it or not, if you reject that or not, we live in divine order. So yeah, it's like good news. Okay, so we have now the Dragon Fae, and this card wanted to come out. Lady Grian, open your heart. So if we want to choose this, we need to open our heart. If you want to change the reality of how children grow up in a rape culture psychology, where it's normal to go over physical sexual boundaries, don't become extra closed up in your heart to protect yourself, so-called, but instead open your heart fully and permanently. How that is done in Harmonious Twin Flame Union, which is the permanent heart opening in which you submit yourself to whatever comes through the heart from the divine. And you allow that to forever after come through you. That's how harmonious union is conceived of inside of yourself, this state of being. So don't go for extra protection. Open your heart completely so that you can't be deceived anymore. You can't be deceived anymore about what is what? What is healthy? What is unhealthy? What is rape culture and what is a way of embracing each other's presence in which we can be open with our boundaries and the difference between it. Because you can do it outside of the connection with the heart. You can do things outside the connection with the heart, like do relationship there, do marriage there, do friendship there, do sexuality there. And that is never going to amount to anything more than like bumping into each other's body, saying hi, or using each other's bodies for some physical feeling. But it will never amount to more than that. Just like a complete sad experience from whichever venture point you're coming. If you're coming from rape culture or you're coming from, well, we actually meant well, and it was like a mutually chosen situation by two adults, etc., how they say. But it's actually not with the heart open. So it's devoid of love. So it's about nothing. You will feel used. If you start to open your heart, you understand that that's just only using. And it does feel wrong when you finally open your heart. But some people live that as just like, but this is physical life. I don't know of any more in life. But if you open your heart, you start to understand that that was nothing. Yeah, essentially also nothing. It's also like nothing, like that didn't even happen in truth because it didn't happen in the heart. Or you do things including the heart with source, with the divine behind it, feeding that heart. You do it inside of it. You do relationship inside of it. You do growing up with children inside of it. You do developing your union with your true twin flame inside of the opening the heart atmosphere, where you're connected to source, where you're relating, where you're divinely relating. And everything will be made out of valuable, permanent experiences of true peace and gratitude and joy and beauty, because they touch you in a different way, because now your heart is open. And that's actually the true distinction between rape culture and Harmonious Twin Flame Union, is what Divine Mother wants to say. So that is actually more what this video is about. Very interesting. Thank you. So I feel that Divine Mother wants to show her face now. So we're going to get one of her emanations out of her card deck, made by or authored by Elena Fairchild. So show me this one. Our Lady of Answered Prayers. Our Lady of Answered Prayers. Very colorful, like a happy, passionate painting. Just like answered prayers are really happy, of course, and passionate and connected. It's like an answered prayer because we're talking about within a heart opening, living there, doing relationship there, growing up there, doing society there. That's the answer to your prayer. Out of the lack and the poverty and the not having and the sadness about that and the feeling like an outsider because of that. And then you pray and you go to the place where there is connection, where there is Divine Mother that is helping you there in all ways, all round, in all aspects of your life, being compassionate and warm and true at the same time. She is about truth. Truth can be very direct, but there's also the compassion around it that warms you up for the receiving of truth. I hear your every thought, your every prayer uttered under the breath. I feel every beat of your sacred heart as it yearns for my limitless love. Do you imagine that I could be ignorant of that which you need the most? Or that I would neglect attending to the deepest needs of your sacred heart? Do you imagine that I am not moved by your suffering or your courage? My beloved, I have already answered your every heartbeat, and you must now look for me to see that I stand right before you and have never left you. I am with you now, and your prayers are answered through my miracles and my grace. Have faith in me. All right. The Mary Magdalene Oracle might be closing this off. The resurrection. The resurrection. Well, that does feel like a closing off of like a big thing here that we've been talking about. Like where you come through what we've discussed is a resurrection of how you're truly meant to be in your beingness. And that, of course, is being the twin flame of your twin flame, right? Being who you are in your union, directly open with your heart, connected into the center of that union. That's who you're supposed to be, and you resurrect yourself into that. That's how you're supposed to live. And that is what happens in Harmonious Twin Flame Union. That's when you start to resurrect yourself. In the form that you are meant to be in union, in the content that you're meant to portray in union, that starts to come into being and come forward and be visible and audible. And that is a resurrection of the true you that protects you completely against any such cultures coming from the outside, because it's just like you're immune for it. Of course, when you keep on choosing Harmonious Twin Flame Union, keep on going forward and establish it more and more, resurrect yourself more and more. Your immunity to such rape cultures starts to only grow and augment and augment and augment. You become, as it were, like this little bubble universe that is the actual divine reality. So it's not a bubble in the sense of an illusion, it's a bubble in the sense of you become immune towards places where there is this onslaught of not harmonious union culture or rape culture or social culture that is not of divine romance, right? Which is all of that is like unhealthy. So you become more and more this like egg form in I'm like visualizing that right now, in which you're really like immune and you're impenetrable by such outside influences. And you live that as union with your true twin flame. And that's how you were actually always supposed to live, and that's how you were created by the divine to live like that. And it's actually like this supernatural sort of that is, because it's connected to the divine, is actually the natural, the normal natural that you are supposed to naturally live. Couldn't be more normal, you know. It is like supernatural, and it can feel very new when you're starting to experience that. But at the end of the day, the longer and the more you're in it and you experience it and whatnot, it's just, it will be revealed to be your normal, your new normal. Yeah, it's going to be your new normal. It's actually going to be very normal, very daily life, every day. It's just how it is. And then you will be like, yeah, what was this thing like long ago? Like, I can't remember, but I mostly can't remember because I'm purified. Not per se that it was actually literally long ago, because you could do that in like 3 years, is what I would roughly say at this moment, is what I advise at this moment, to do this development. Certainly possible when I look at myself and all the other experiences that I had around me and that I saw. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a long time ago, actually, but it will feel like a long time ago because you're just living in this completely different atmosphere now. And it's just like, what was that again? Like, something was bothering me once, but it's not here anymore. And my memory and my mind and my emotions and my heart and my brain and my nervous system have been cleansed from all of that. That's what happens there. And you're like, that's far away. That's very far away. Okay. So we're getting another deck. And it's going to be the Egyptian deck. So let's see. Divine Mother, pick a card for us and show us which one it is going to need to be. Oh, well, that's kind of clear. Shadow. Characteristics and behaviors that we suppress. Think about what kind of behavior you have learned to suppress and why. You see now who or what triggers you, and through that you will experience freedom. Idea for an exercise: research what characteristic you don't like in someone else and see if you have it yourself as well. That is more or less included, that is included, not more or less, in the key exercise. That is the inner work tool for twin flames. We have 2 versions, 4 steps per version, and actually 3 versions, because the third one is a trauma healing version that you can only experience at this moment for when you're in a deeper relationship one-on-one with me and the situation calls for it. So, and I will guide you through that. All right. And that is important for the complete resolution of rape culture. As it happens with anything that you want to let go of, to live in a direct relationship with divine love and the beautiful security that gives more and more, then you need to go through the key tool. And one of the things it means is that you'll see your shadow, and that you need to research if it was actually you yourself that did these things. And that's true for rape culture too. I'm sorry that may sound kind of challenging, but it is true. I've gone through that research myself as well, and I did go over other people's boundaries. I did sexually stalk, harass in that kind of direction people. And that is how you cleanse yourself, by seeing that and repairing it there inside of yourself. And that is what the key exercise will teach you. And that is where you purify it, so that you won't see it in the world anymore, won't see it in other people anymore, won't meet it in society and social situations anymore, because you've removed it outside of yourself. And that is so true, and that is the complete resolution that it is 100% about. That's what I've gone through. That's what I did. That's the ultimate solution. It's a consciousness thing. If you resolve it in yourself, you will not meet it anymore in the outside world. So the solution is meet rape culture in yourself and purify yourself where you find it in you. For sure, I did these things because that's how I was treated as a child. So you act that out on the other end. That's how normal things always go. But when they're healthy behaviors, there's nothing going on. But when they're not, what comes out is not. It can be borderline criminal what comes out. Which it was, because that's what was done to me, right? So it has to be removed outside of you, nevertheless. So in the process of the purification that we talk about, that will happen on the journey towards your harmonious twin flame union, and inside of it will continue. It will, okay, this will happen. It's not even a choice. Well, it is a choice to start to do all of this, right? To go for it completely. And if you say, I go for it completely, then do that. And what will happen there is you will start to purify yourself in this exact way. And it will bring you on a roll and continue like that inside harmonious union. That's what will happen there. It's not a question if, it is what happens there. And that's how you change the world. That's how you transform the world away from rape culture, because you removed it outside of yourself. out of you removed it out of yourself. It's not present anymore inside of yourself. And the yourself is your union. So you've removed it out of your union. So you will also not need to be afraid anymore that you will be sexually harassed or raped inside your union by your twin flame when you have removed it from yourself. That is your union, yourself, your contribution to it, your part in it. That is what it is about. And then that purified harmonious twin flame union is a contribution to the world as a new part of society where that doesn't exist anymore. And then you will, as mission, spread harmonious union, and other people can also go through this process and through this purification. And we're on our way towards a whole society where there's no rape culture anymore because you've removed it outside of yourself. Through the twin flame inner work, on your way towards harmonious twin flame union and beyond. And that's how it's going to go. Let's get a spiritual message card. You can't push the river. Well, that's interesting. So it is, harmonious union is a love flow that is already flowing through your heart. And you just, what you do to get into your harmonious twin flame union is you submit yourself to that love flow that is already present in your heart. And that's what the key exercise does. And that flow is not able to be manipulated. You can't push it. And that's fortunate because that is the love flow that is always here, that is part of the divine, just like you in your union are part of the divine. It's not being able to be manipulated. It's always pure. It's always divine. So that means that there is never rape culture there. And that's why harmonious twin flame union is the solution for rape culture. Amen. Beautiful. So, wow, that was beautiful. That feels complete to me. Yeah, I hope that helped. And I hope to see you real soon in my next video. Love from Petra.